It's the 2022 FCIAC Girls Lacrosse Playoffs on DAF Media Network in conjunction with NCTV and Local Live. And tonight we bring you our first of two semifinals featuring the number 2 seeded New Canaan Rams and the number 3 seeded Wilton Warriors. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Braden Shank joined alongside me, Chad Russo. And Chad, our first of two games here from Joe Testa Field on the campus of Norwalk High School. You're taking a look at our bracket. What do you think we should see in this one?
I mean, we saw a dominant performance against Staples last game from New Canaan. We saw a lot of goals scored from both. It was a lot of goals from Dylan Patton, and just the whole team really came out. A lot of hat tricks. I believe 3 players had a hat trick for New Canaan last game. So it's just a combined attack from a lot of different players. And then on the Wilton side, I mean, coming out 15-0 against Ludlow, that's a huge win for them. Whenever you can shut a team out, scored double-digit goals. That's always a big one. Real huge confidence builder coming into a game. I mean, Morgan Lebeck, the midfielder, I think she's going to be a really impactful player here today. She's going to Amherst. She shows a lot of speed. If she can maybe burn the Rams a couple times, it can really boost the confidence of this Wilton team.
You did bring up that Wilton-Ludlow game. We're going to take a quick look at the highlights and show you how Wilton got to this point. That game, of course, Thursday night. As you see the video package, Wilton took on the Fairfield-Ludlow Falcons at Lilly Field, and it was all Wilton in that one, beating the Falcons 15-0 in a big one. And Chad, how does a team like Wilton come off a big game 15-0 and then shift their attention to a team like New Canaan?
Well, I mean, looking at the comparison between New Canaan and Ludlow, this New Canaan team has a lot of talent. There's so many D1 commits on this team. So when you look at it from that perspective, you just really have to come out as a team. Everyone has to be locked in because there's so many different players on this New Canaan team that can make Wilton pay. They just have to focus on shutting down on the defensive side.
So that, of course, was a big game for Wilton, 14-0. We're now going to shift our attention over to New Canaan, who also had a big game Thursday night. They took on the Staples Wreckers, the number 7 seed in this tournament. And similar to Wilton, they went out, scored 15 goals, and took that one 15-3. And Chad, what did you see Thursday night from New Canaan?
So that game, the Rams really came out to a slow start. It was a closer game than they would have liked to have seen going into half. We saw Wilton score a lot of goals on the crease on a couple of Staples score a lot of goals on the crease on a lot of open cuts down the middle. And, I mean, the Rams are going to have to be able to stop that today. They're missing star defenseman Carolyn Barron. She went down with a knee injury. And you could see a couple flashes in the last game of that really hurting the team, a lack of communication at times on some of those cuts. And I wouldn't be surprised if Wilton tries to exploit that today.
It was interesting. You brought up Barron, one of a few injuries on this New Canaan team. You also look at their big senior attackman in Holworth Mulry, who's been out for pretty much this entire season. Chad, how does a team like New Canaan adjust losing someone like Mulry's talent out there?
Well, they do have 2 All-Americans. There's still Dylan Patton and Kaylee Harden, so they've really relied on them a lot more. And we've seen players like Caroline Underwood. She started off the season as more of like a role player, and she's really stepped up and become a star. We saw, I believe it was a 3 or 4 point game from her against Staples, and that was huge. And she's just building her confidence as the season's been going on.
And now we're going to take a look at the last time that these teams met earlier this season in the regular season, and that one was won by the Rams 14-6 in a game over at Wilton High School. And Wilton tried to climb back into that game, just was not able to. And Chad, how does a team like Wilton now, knowing what happened in the regular season, how do they put that behind them and shift their attention solely to this semifinal game?
Well, I think this is kind of one of those classic trap games where this Wilton team can really roll in. They've built up a lot of momentum. I mean, 15-0 against Ludlow, that's no slouch of a game right there. So this momentum that they've built up, if they can keep riding it, they're a different team than when they played New Canaan. I think it was over a month ago. So when you have this amount of time, like, you just have to look at it and be like, hey, we lost that game, but we can always come out and change things this next game.
Definitely a good point you bring up. And this semifinal game, a lot riding on it. The winner will have a date with either the Darien Blue Wave or the Richfield Tigers. That semifinal occurring right after this one here at Testa Field and can be seen on the DAF Media Network. But the winners of those will meet back here on Wednesday at 7 o'clock for the FCIAC Championship. And for both of these teams, they will be looking to win one of their first championships. For New Canaan, would only be potentially their 3rd in program history. And for the Wilton Warriors, their 7th. So a lot riding on this game today, as the sticks will be checked. The teams will huddle back up. And New Canaan, you also got to look at, Chad, the defending FCIAC champions, beating Darien last year in a big one. How do you think that's kind of played into their mentality coming into this year's tournament?
Well, I remember early on in the season, there was a lot of talk about trying to be the #1 team in the country this year. That was a huge goal for this New Canaan team because there's a really strong senior class. I mean, Patton, Harden, those are just 2 players to name right there. And just there was this huge energy behind let's be #1. And they slipped up a couple times here and there, and it kind of got them down a little bit. But this team's had great energy all season long, and it just really carried through.
This New Canaan team only 2 losses all season, one to the Victor Blue Devils of New York and the other to the Darien Blue Wave in a game that Darien's really surged off of. They are undefeated, the #1 team in this year's tournament. And we will now send you down to the field with the starting lineups and national anthem in this one.
Semifinal matchup between the Wilton Warriors and the New Canaan Rams. Begin today's game with the starting lineups. First for the visiting Warriors. First we have number 27, Whitney Hess. Number 26, Ashley Masterson. Number 24, Ellie Coffey. Number 18, Belle Bonanno.
My audio too loud?
Number 17, Molly Snow. Number 16, Addison Patillo. Number 14, in goal, Amelia Hughes. Number 9, Josie Goldman. Number 8, Gwen Sullivan. Number 7, Morgan Breaking. Number 3, Catherine Deneen. Number 2, Lucy Corey. And number 1, Morgan Levac. Now for the starting lineup for the New Canaan Rams. In goal, number 42, Claire Mahoney. Number 26, Izzy Applet. Number 24, Ella Patterson. Number 23, Lexi Tully. Number 15, Caitlin Tully. Number 10, Jade Lowe. Number 9, Carolyn Underwood. Number 8, Devin Russell. Number 6, Kaylee Harden. Number 5, Stella Nolan. Number 4, Kate Zioni. And number 3, Dylan Patton. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we ask you please rise, move your hats, and face the flag. We're playing today's national anthem.
And we are just about ready for the first semifinal in this one, returning back to Testa Field after a year absence last year where they played it over at Dunning Field in New Canaan, these girls lacrosse playoff games. Now we return to Norwalk High's Testa Field for this one. And of course the beautiful facility they have here. And the teams will huddle up as they prepare to go to war in this one. Wilton once again the 3rd seed looking to pull off the upset against New Canaan. It would be the first time since 2018 that Wilton can take down the Rams in that game in 2018, Chad. Almost the same circumstances. The FCIAC semifinals, 2 versus 3 at Testa Field, and Wilton took that one 10-8, so they're looking to repeat history and advance to their first FCIAC championship since 2018.
I think when there's been such a long drought going on, when you're such a storied program, I mean, Wilton does have more FCIAC titles than New Canaan does, 7-3 in that regard. I mean, when you have this history behind you, it can create a lot of pressure. I mean, I've seen it a lot when I was playing boys lacrosse for New Canaan, that some of those rivalries, like the one with Darien, where Darien's dominated for the past couple of years, it adds a little bit of fire underneath the game, makes it a little bit more intense sometimes, because you're just looking to, I don't know, try and relive some of that history and kind of get back to where you were previously.
That's definitely a good point there. And you brought up the boys game and the boys tournament happening tomorrow at Brian McMahon. The 4 semifinal teams there, almost similar to the girls teams. You have Wilton, Darien, and then you actually have the 2 new ones in Staples and Greenwich, but potentially could have been New Canaan in both of them. And Richfield and them. They both made it to the quarterfinals. Were actually favored. Actually, not New Canaan, but Richfield was favored in their match, got upsetted. So it definitely shows you who the lacrosse towns are and who's not in Fairfield County. New Canaan breaking their huddle. They will be in their home white jerseys tonight with the red numbering. Of course, the lower seed being technically a New Canaan home game, so they'll be in their home jerseys, and Wilton will be in their road gray jerseys with the blue numbering. Should be easy to seed today under the beautiful sun we have. Perfect day for some lacrosse. It's up to 90 this weekend. Not as nice, but still a good day for some lacrosse.
Yeah, I think both teams are a little bit thankful for the storm last night, breaking down some of that humidity. I remember yesterday it was sweltering heat. It was awful, and that's not really what we're dealing with today.
Now we're going to take a look at our goalies, first starting with the New Canaan Rams and their senior goaltender in Claire Mahoney, and she will be off to Brown in the fall. And now over on the other side of the field, you have another Ivy Leaguer in Amelia Hughes for the Wilton Warriors. She will be off to Princeton in the fall, so two Ivy Leaguers potentially will be meeting. And we now are just about ready for this one to get underway. Will be first draw of the game, Kaylee Harden and Ashley Masterson. And we are underway. First face-off taken and won by Harden. Kaylee Harden won two draws against Staples on Thursday, went 2-0, and then she got replaced at the draw circle. And now New Canaan will set up their offense for the first time this afternoon.
This is a key start for New Canaan. Whenever you can get possession to kick off a game, it can just really help build momentum as the game goes on. You want to be able to have possessions. Girls lacrosse is a game of possession like a lot of other sports, and that's something this Rams team is really good at doing.
New Canaan moving it around. Over to Harden. Finding the stick of Lexi Tully. Tully just a sophomore, a talented athlete, three-star athlete for New Canaan. Trying to get past Breaky, passing it off to Tully, Caitlin Tully. And that one will be picked up by Hughes and cleared out.
And that's great goalie play there by Hughes. You can see why she's going to Princeton. Whenever you can pick off passes as a goalie, it really helps build faith in your defense. You know you can rely on your goaltender to help you out in any situation, and that's exactly what Hughes did there.
Here's now to Wilton on their first time. Addison Patillo, the sophomore. Keeping it moving now to the stick of Denano. Now Lucy Corey, the junior All-FCIAC honorable mention last season for the Warriors.
I mean, just looking at Wilton's team, you can see a lot of height out there. I mean, Lebec at the top of the key, she just looks a lot taller than everyone. It's similar to Christian Allegro in the way he looks on the field, just physically imposing.
Bouncing that one and scoring. Wilton will strike first in this one. A great way to get started for the Warriors as they go up 1-0. We'll take another look at it. That's number 16, Addison Patillo, wrapping around and bouncing it past Mahoney for the first goal for Wilton this afternoon. And how important is that one, Chad?
I mean, we talked about it. Whenever you can get a little bit of momentum going, especially against a team that you've lost to previously, this is just going to build the confidence in a huge way. I mean, they got to stop, and being able to go down and score almost at will there in the way they did. That was a great job by Patillo there. Just a great goal by her. And hopefully she can build on it as the day goes on for Wilton.
Just about 2 minutes into this one, and Wilton puts the first goal on the board. Now Masterson and Harden back to the draw circle. Some pushing going on the far side. Up in the air, and Harden will gain the draw control, her second win for New Canaan. Now quickly being double teamed by Snow and Patillo. New Canaan forced to retreat it. Patterson over to the stick of Pelt. And now in the air, the ground ball just past the stick of Lebec. And now New Canaan will go back on the offense.
We've seen some uncharacteristic mistakes so far from New Canaan. We saw the turnover at X there forced by Hughes. Where just some of these passes, they aren't exactly coming out the way they want them to. But look, it's early in the game. There's always time to improve, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
We're just 3 minutes into this one as now we see Dylan Patton, the senior All-American last season. and a big athlete for the Rams. On the outside, here's Harden. Gonna think about it and get it right back to Devin Russell. Russell scored versus Staples on Thursday in the quarters.
Devin Russell's definitely one of the more underrated players on this New Canaan team. She gets a lot of ground balls.
Kaylee Harden shooting that one just high out of play.
She's a huge ground ball player. She does a lot more of the grittier dodges, getting a lot of contact, usually draws a lot of shooting space calls to get 8-meter shots. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of that from her today. She's kind of their person they bring in. I mean, you have Harden and you have Patton, who are more the finesse, big scorers, but she's more the gritty player that holds everything together for the Rams.
It's definitely something big for a team to have that, especially for the New Canaan Rams and their success this season. Russell dumping it right off to the shot, and scoring is Dylan Patton. New Canaan's first goal on the afternoon. Dylan Patton, the goal scorer for the Rams. She will be off to Cornell in the fall to play lacrosse. And we are tied up at 1.
And Dylan Patton, she always just uses her speed. She's a massive speed dodger, and we saw it there. She's just always able to get that extra step on defenders. And when you have a shot like she does where you can just sting it on corners like she did there, I mean, that's just a fantastic player to have on your team. Definitely a threat at all positions on the field.
Dylan Patton, the senior, she scored 4 against Staples on Thursday in the quarterfinal win. And she picks up her first one in this one. As we're 4 minutes in, tied at 1 between Wilton and New Canaan in this 2022 FCIAC Girls Lacrosse semifinal. Draw control goes to the Rams. The third one now to Kaylee Harden. Quick pass down low to Tully. This is Caitlin Tully. Harden makes one move, quickly met by Catherine Deneen, the senior. Off to Bucknell in the fall for lacrosse, a great defender for the Warriors.
I really like the defense the Warriors have been playing so far. There's a lot of communication going on. We can hear it all the way up here, even with the headsets on, just the audio. It's always coming through from them. And that's something huge for a defense in just about any sport. When you're talking and you know what's going on, you can be almost impossible to beat no matter what kind of athletes you're going against.
And Wilton is a team that only averages 5 goals against in each of their games, and that's really spectacular, the fact that they've played a 16-game schedule and only allowed 98 goals. I mean, that's truly spectacular for a team like Wilton, a big part of their success. And now we see Caitlin Tully passing it off to her sister, Lexi Tully. Right back to Tully. Try saying that 10 times fast. Nice move made by Underwood. She's going to retreat it. Dylan Patton. Out to the stick of Lexi Tully. Tully scored 2 against Staples on Thursday. Great cut. Pulling it back out was Underwood. Now Kaylee Harden's going to get a touch.
These have been 2 really smart decisions by Underwood. She's gotten the ball near the crease a couple of times here and there, but the Wilton defense has done a great job approaching her, and she's just been smart enough to pull it out, resettle the offense, and they're just really looking to get probably a look from Patton, maybe a look from Harden. Those are the 2 main goal scorers for them.
Dylan Patton now passing it off to Russell. Kaylee Harden trying to get nifty with the stick. Patton slowing it down, no shot clock, so nothing pressuring the Rams. And it's something, you know, they've definitely worked on throughout the course of this season, slowing the ball down, taking their time, looking for the great shot. Great pass down low. Here's Tully. She's going to retreat it out, get it right back to X with Underwood. Underwood, the junior attack for the Rams. Devin Russell. Back to Underwood. Going in the counterclockwise with the ball, keeping it moving once again. Now touching the stick of Stella Nolan, dumping it off.
And this Wilton defense really just doing a great job collapsing on all the New Canaan players. They've gotten it inside a few times here and there, but there have been double teamings coming from everywhere. Just great communication overall.
That's something that, especially this late in the season, you really need from a team. You got to play perfectly to potentially win an FCIAC title, but first you got to get there, and you got to win this match. Patton, the give and go to Russell. Russell trying to dodge past her defender in Denano. Shot off of Hughes to save the rebound. Picked up by Harden. So she gets her own rebound but throws it out of play. And the ball will be turned over to the Warriors.
And I'm not exactly sure if I should call that a great save by Hughes or maybe like a lucky play. But as we like to say at NCTV, this game's a game of inches, and sometimes you're just going to miss by a little bit, maybe hit a helmet, and that's just a lucky break there for the Warriors.
Amelia Hughes picks up her first big save of the afternoon. And it was a good shot from Harden, but a great job from Kaylee, though, to get the rebound and try to stay with it. Canaan now breaking off in their little formation. Patillo, not successful, looking for Hess on the near side. Hughes currently just holding the ball at the 40-yard line.
This is a big thing we saw in the Staples game just a couple days ago. This Rams ride has been so good recently. They've done a great job getting back on defense. And if you notice, it almost looks like defensive backs covering receivers in football. There's no space whatsoever. And then that gives them the ability to attack, like with players like Caroline Underwood right here on Hughes.
Underwood trying to force the ball loose. Great pass over to Deneen. Deneen, usually the defender, will flip it over to the offense. And that was something, Chad, you could tell New Canaan was getting a little impatient there and wanted to just rush the quarterback, if you will, or rush Hughes. And unsuccessful on the turnover. Corey bouncing it off behind the net to Molly Snow. Now over to Coffey. Molly Coffey, senior for the Warriors. Great cut inside. That one knocked loose by Harden. The flag has been pulled, and Wilton will get the 8-meter shot here. And a golden free position opportunity for the Warriors to take another look at it. It will be number 1, Morgan LeBeck, committed to Amherst for lacrosse. On the near side of the arc, she's going to take it. Retreated out, shoves hard into the ground, stays with it though. Denano. Over to Snow. Snow now dodging inside, retreating out. Great defense by Lowe.
Gotta say, Brad, I'm really impressed there by LeBeck on her ability just to run over Kaylee Harden. I mean, we like to talk about it a lot. It's almost Nick Chubb-esque in the way she trucked Harden. Not sure if it's allowed in this sport, but I mean, either way, when you can be physically imposing like that, it can really help build on your game.
And that one, a flag pulled, getting tripped to the ground was, I think it was number 1, LeBeck.
Yeah, it looks like LeBeck is going to have the 8-meter here.
So Morgan LeBeck will get the 8-meter free position, this time on the far side of the arc. LeBeck looking to put the Warriors up.
This is a perfect position to start for if you're the Warriors. You're almost right down the middle. You have the entire cage to aim at. I mean, we saw the Rams were able to cut her off last time, but with an angle like this, you have to think, oh.
Great job by the Rams to cut her off. Kaylee Harden gaining possession, now trying to get it out of her defensive zone, passing it off to her goalie and Claire Mahoney. Mahoney made 11 saves versus Wilton in the regular season. Some music still being played here at Testa Field. Some Baba O'Reilly by the Who rather. Harden now taking it down the near side. Over to Underwood. I can't tell if that's the stadium or someone's phone that's playing it. You hear it too, Chad, right?
Yeah, no, I hear it. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be able to play music in the middle of a game like this. But, I mean, anything can go down at Testa Field, I guess.
Anything can. Of course, the neutral site for these semifinals. As Tully
hoping we don't get a copyright strike for this one, Braden. That would be a little rough.
Still trying to figure that out. Definitely some music being played, but New Canaan staying on the offense, not disrupting them.
Unfazed.
And Kaylee Harden's going to touch it. I'm moving it over to Tully. Underwood. Fast-paced first half so far 2 goals in this one. One from Addison Patillo, the other from Dylan Patton. That's where we stand at 1-1 in this semifinal. Canaan over the past 3 years has gone 51-8 in their seasons. A team that doesn't lose that often, and it's rare for them to lose to a team not named Darien. And the last time they've actually lost to a Connecticut opponent that isn't Darien was 2017, where they fell to Richfield 14-11. So it's been a while since a team like Wilton has overtaken the Rams. Underwood moving it along to Devin Russell.
I think a win streak like that almost builds pressure for this New Canaan team, because when you've gone so long not losing to Connecticut opponents besides Darien, of course, it can really, like, you want to be able to preserve that streak, and that's just something, when that's on your mind when you're playing, that can really get in the way of being able to be the best team you can be.
And it's definitely something. You look at the streaks, and you know, a lot of teams have them. New Canaan had a big win streak going that they actually lost this season when they lost to Victor. Actually, when they lost last year, rather, in the FCIAC semifinals. I think it was 20-something games they won. Definitely puts pressures on the teams. Is now Caitlin Tully going to bring it behind the net to X, passing it off to Underwood. And New Canaan, they have scored double digits in all but one of their games. The one outlier being the Victor Blue Devils, where they only scored 7 as a team. So 1 goal in the first, we could call it first quarter in this game, as we're halfway through the opening half.
Based on the way the Staples game went, though, I believe they only had about 3 to 4 goals at around this point against Staples. And Wilton has a far superior defense, as you said, only giving up around 5 goals a game this season. So this isn't really surprising. But, I mean, with just how electric the Rams' offense has been all season, you'd expect them to be up just a little bit more.
And New Canaan trying to add another one. Dylan Patton bringing it out. Kaylee Harden, whistle blown. And she will get her first shot at the free position.
Kaylee Harden's definitely a player the Rams want on an 8-meter. She has an elite ability
Harden
to finish in front.
Shoots and scores. And New Canaan will take the lead in this one. Kaylee Harden, the great free position goal for the Rams. And you were just talking, Chad, about how good she is on the free positions.
Yeah, and she just does a great job. She does a great job throwing a couple stick fakes here and there. She rarely loses the ball in these 8-meter attempts, as we've seen a little bit in this game, as we saw on the defensive end over there for the Rams. And when you have a player like that, it's just really crucial that if you can trust someone on the 8-meter. We saw the Rams back in the game that Victor we talked about. They pulled it out a lot on the 8-meters, didn't really trust themselves going to the net. But Kaylee Harden, she's just full of confidence, and it shows there with her goal.
Big goal from Kaylee Harden. Just over 11 minutes, 40 seconds. 11:44, the exact time left in this opening half. Now Masterson and Harden back at the draw circle. So far, Harden is 3-0. So Masterson looking to pick up her first one.
With how defensive this game has been so far, I feel like having these possessions, especially with how long they have been for the Rams, is really huge. Whatever team can win the draws is probably going to win this game. And with the Rams being 4-0 so far, that's huge.
Harden once again wins it. She's now going to get it over to the offense. Here's Molly Reed, the junior, 3-star athlete for the Rams, field hockey, lacrosse, and basketball. Caitlin Tully, given some room from Goldman. Harden over to Russell, right back to Harden. Risky pass down low, but it is complete. And Russell will get out. Touched pretty heavily, but she stays with the ball.
And that's just a classic Devin Russell play right there. We've seen it from her all season. She gets hit a lot in these games. I'm shocked she isn't more bruised up seeing her on the field. But the way she plays is just so aggressive, and she's always willing to make plays a lot of other people aren't willing to make, and that's just one of them right there.
Devin just recently selected for the American Select Connecticut team for the class of 2024. Big accomplishment for her. Now that is Caitlin Tully. Running around now with it, drawing Hess out. Whitney Hess, a ice hockey player for the Warriors, also plays defense for lacrosse. Is that one shot? No shot is called. They're going to bring the ball back. Just high, though, anyways, off the stick of Patton.
You got to believe Patton's thankful to get that one back. I mean, she put a great shot on net, and having that shot there, she can just adjust a little bit here from the 8-meter.
Patton going straight to the cage, shooting and scoring.
And it's no surprise there. Dylan Patton's really great at finishing these 8-meter attempts. She has the speed to beat just about any defender. A lot of girls on the team like to make the claim that she runs a 4.540. That would be pretty insane if you ask me. Maybe it's slightly slower than that, but either way, she's just a freak athlete, honestly.
So Wilton 2 for 2 on their free positions. We are going to see a timeout now called by the Wilton Warriors. And you got to assume, Chad, they're just looking to slow this ball down, get it back to what was working for them in the early goings in this game, considering the fact that it's really just gone New Canaan's way in this last 2 minutes or so.
And this is a lot like what we saw against Staples. They were able to hold with them in the beginning of the game. They had a lot of opportunities to play really great defense, and they did that in the beginning. But as time goes on, you can see they just kind of wear away at this defense for Wilton. And, I mean, 2 goals in the past couple minutes, that's huge for the Rams, especially with how well this Wilton team plays defense. They're already almost on their way to tying the average for Wilton on the season, 5 goals per game.
Now, what do you think, Chad, on, I mean, New Canaan's shown they're 2 for 2 on the free positions. How do you think Wilton's going to adjust to that, try to make some more stops on the 8-meter free positions?
Well, I mean, if you're getting all these free positions and that's where they're actually scoring the goals, you really have to play a lot more discipline. You have to be able to cut off and play great defense with your feet without getting these calls drawn. And, I mean, they did that for most of the game. They were able to do really great double teams. Their double teams have been a huge strength for them so far, at least in my opinion. And they've been able to cut off this Rams offense a lot. So if they can go back to that, playing a little bit more cleaner, I wouldn't be surprised if they can limit the Rams offense like they were previously.
And if you're just joining us, a pretty low-scoring first half so far. Wilton scored the first one with an Addison Patillo goal, and then New Canaan with the quick retaliation from Dylan Patton, and then scoring on their last 2 free positions, one from Kaylee Hart and the other from Dylan Patton. That's where we stand at 3-1 in this first FCIAC semifinal. Once again, the winner will be playing again on Wednesday against the winner of Darien and Richfield for the 2022 FCIAC title. The teams will just about break their huddle. 3-1, 10 minutes, 1 second left in this opening half. Canaan having won the last 5 meetings between these teams, including 2 FCIAC playoff games. And the last time they met in an FCIAC tournament, as we mentioned in the Open, was the 2018 semifinals in which Wilton won. So the Warriors definitely have shown they can come out and flip some scripts, try to rewrite the narrative, if you will, in the FCIAC playoffs.
I think that's all going to have to start right here at the draw circle. I mean, 4-0 for the Rams so far on the draw. That's just huge. So if this Wilton team wants to limit this Rams team, they have to be able to get possession. They've already shown that they're effective at scoring goals. They have 1 offensive possession. They're 1 for 2 on possession so far. 50% isn't bad by any means. This game's 3-1, and they just have to be able to get back in it, get back some of that confidence we saw previously.
Masterson and Harden once again at the draw circle. This one flipped up. Masterson will gain control, her first draw control of the afternoon, and Masterson, a rare one from her, especially for how dominant she's been this season for Wilton. Now Peterkin, newly in the game for the Wilton Warriors, a junior, looking to get the offense going as Wilton now will take over at the offense.
I don't know about you, Braden, but these numbers are almost impossible to see with the glare from the sun and the way they blend in. I'm not sure how you're doing play-by-play like this right now.
It's actually funny. We had these guys at Darien High School earlier this year in the pouring rain, and those were not even easy to see as well. But we're trying our best here. That one picked up by the Warriors in Patillo. Addison Patillo, her second year on varsity, had 2 goals when the team played St. Joe's last Tuesday. Gemma Peterkin. Peterkin off to Richmond in 2 falls for lacrosse. She's getting stripped of the ball. Harden trying to gain possession, but the whistle will keep it with Wilton. And that one knocked loose, and Mahoney will make her first save of the afternoon.
And that's a great save there by Mahoney. She's been really great at picking up some of these bounce shots that she's seen a lot of so far this season. Wouldn't be surprised if Wilton tries to change planes a little bit, maybe try and go up high on her.
There's now Lexi Tully passing it off. That one off the net. Don't think Hughes got a stick on it, but like there, Caitlin Tully will try to pick it up near the end line. And possession staying with the Rams. Take another look at it. Aggressive there on the far side between Goldman and Tully. Here's Lexi Tully with the restart. Trying to get past her defender and Whitney Hess. Passing it behind the net to Caitlin Tully. Tully trying the wraparound. Going her offhand, bouncing it, shooting and scoring.
And that's what both Tully sisters have been so great at doing this season. They're able to dodge from down low, a little bit on the side there, and just being able to pull some of these spin back arounds and things are of that nature. They like to go and shoot a lot of bounce shots, both the Tullys, and both of them have just been so effective this season. I mean, Caitlin was struggling earlier in the year with some knee injuries. I mean, I know she has a lot of ligament damage over the past couple of years, and that's huge to come back from. And she's just been kind of the heart of this team. Everyone kind of gathers around her, and being able to score that goal right there, putting the Rams up 4-1, just absolutely massive.
Caitlin Tully, the senior, off to Cornell in the fall. Her the Tully legacy will live on, though, in the future. You have Lexi Tully, the sophomore, then Maddie Tully, the freshman. So Tullys are nowhere close to done at New Canaan High School. And Caitlin Tully, just the most recent addition of them, picking up a big goal for the Rams. Now at the draw circle, on the ground. Ground ball picked up by Kaylee Harden. Taking it out was Devin Russell. Russell over to Harden. Harden now dodging to the net, knocked loose. The ball on the ground picked up and put over to Amelia Hughes.
And that's just great defense there by the Warriors. They did a great job collapsing on Harden. It looked like she had almost a wide open lane there. I was surprised she didn't shoot it earlier, but the way they closed in really made it so she couldn't. Just a great job by everyone on Wilton.
Amelia Hughes now with the ball. She was recently named the Wilton Spring Female Athlete for the FCIAC Exemplary Scholar Athlete in the spring. So has the smarts and the athletic abilities, the goalie for the Wilton Warriors.
I mean, when you're going to Princeton, you got to believe she's a smart cookie, and it sounds like that's the case.
Plus, you're getting an all-FCIAC second-teamer in Amelia Hughes. Whistle blown, and free position betting going to be handed out to the Rams and Devin Russell. Snow will start behind her. 6:45 left in this opening half in the FCIAC semifinal. First of two tonight. Pass completed. Great job by Russell to stick the stick out and make it. And the shot there, scoring. New Canaan continuing to add them on. A big goal there from number 3, Dylan Patton. And Patton, that is her hat trick on the afternoon. You take another look at it. Great wraparound. Finds Patton. Just rifles the shot past Hughes.
That's something I've noticed a lot more as this season's gone on. Dylan Patton putting a lot more velocity on her shot. I mean, it's rare to see in girls lacrosse. I mean, a lot of people clock in and guys lacrosse in like that 100-mile-per-hour range at times. And seeing Dylan Patton be able to whip some of these shots is just incredibly impressive, especially with how different the stick is.
And now a change at the draw circle. Lexi Tully will come on in the place of Kaylee Harden. Tully went 12-1 at the draw circle versus Staples. I think she won 12 in a row, if I remembering correctly. And she once again meeting Masterson. That one won by Masterson. Only the second time in this first half that she has done that. Now quickly over to the offense with Addison Patillo. Patillo over to the stick of Masterson. Masterson, a draw specialist for the for the Warriors rather. Usually plays the attack right after it. Some consider her a dogo, if you will, the draw specialist. At least that's what I was told.
A dogo. That's quite the word right there. I mean, fogo, maybe I'm just more used to it, but dogo. Interesting one. Almost sounds like the bird.
And now behind the net with it is Snow. That's actually number 12, Williams. My apologies. Now to Snow. Snow on the taller side for Wilton. Trying to make a move past her defender. Retreating out now, taking the wraparound opportunity. Dumping it off, shooting and scoring.
And it looks like that's going to be Patillo again. She's having a huge game. These sophomores for Wilton really stepping up. I mean, Masterson being able to win the draw here and there. And then Patillo being able to score like that. That's 2 goals on the day for her. The only 2 goals for Wilton.
Addison Patillo, the sophomore, with the goal. And just like that, Wilton is staying in this game. 5-2 our score. Now our score bug updated. Not sure what the trouble was there, but 5-2 our score. And now we see Tully and Masterson back at the draw circle after the great goal from Addison Patillo. As you mentioned, Chad, just a sophomore, but she's really been commanding this Wilton offense all season. Had some big goals, was also selected for the American Select Connecticut team 2024. And you got to assume the future is looking bright for Addison Patillo. Masterson and Tully. And up in the air, the ball knocked loose, pass over to the restraining line. And fair game now, picked up by the Rams, so they will win the draw. And now Canaan with the restart. Over to the midfield with Molly Reed. On the near side is Tully. Quickly being met with Breaky. Caitlin Tully behind the net.
That was just a fantastic clear by the Rams. I believe every defender, almost every player on the field touched the ball, and they made sure to make sure they got the most open look to get it down the field. Just overall, probably great coaching there by Kristen Woods, being able to have a team set up such a great clear.
That's something you definitely bring experience with. The 16th year head coach, Kristen Woods. So she's definitely no stranger to girls lacrosse, and especially New Canaan girls lacrosse. It's Devin Russell moving it over to Molly Reed. Here's the junior Stella Nolan. The give and go just past the stick of Molly Reed would have worked to perfection, but just past the outreach of Reed, and that might have stick gone a little too far there from Wilton. And number 18, Belle Donano.
They've been really slap happy with Russell so far. It seems like she's gotten hit so many times, and it might just be her aggressive play, but it almost feels like they're going after her with how many shots to the head she's taken so far.
Caitlin Tully with the ball. Nice spin move. Goldman playing the tight D. Here's Lexi Tully. Right back to her sister. Kaylee Harden now at the top. Russell trying to get something. Spinning out of it over behind the net. Wide open net. That one shot just high off the stick of Dylan Patton. Had a wide open net and just going high.
That's a great possession shot there by Patton. I mean, it would have been great to see it go in the goal, but it's soaring a little bit over with the backup there from Lexi Tully being able to keep possession.
That was Tully that gets knocked to the ground, and that one is in. A goal from New Canaan, really turning it around right there.
And that's just a really impressive heads-up play there by Lexi Tully, being able to come across the crease like that while going back to Hughes and pick off that pass.
An unbelievable goal from New Canaan and number 23. And Lexi Tully, you mentioned, picks off the pass and shoots it in for Tully's first goal of the afternoon. And that's just a sloppy play from Wilton right there. Not crispening up on the passes, and New Canaan taking advantage of it. Another substitution for head coach Kristen Woods as Devin Russell will take this draw. And that was something, especially when you see Caitlin Tully getting knocked to the ground, and Wilton was just trying to put it in transition and unable to do so.
And I think this all comes from this setup. We saw New Canaan with a really great ride earlier on in the game. I believe it was around the 15-minute mark where the Wilton just couldn't get anyone open. So when you have a situation like that where the Rams are so good in a set ride, it forces a lot more transition. And when you're trying to force in transitions, mistakes like that can happen. And, I mean, it results in a goal here for the Rams.
That one up in the air. Masterson gets the height and gets the draw control. I believe plays for the Wilton basketball team in the winter, using the height right there, going up for the rebound. Now it's over to Lucy Corey, the senior, actually the junior rather. Snow, the Lehigh commit. Molly Snow had 3 goals when the team played St. Joe's last Tuesday. Also had a goal against New Canaan in the regular season when they met. Morgan Lebeck. Over to Lucy Corey, right back to her stick.
It looks like the Rams are trying to lock off Snow here with a pelt. It's something you traditionally do when you have a really lethal player on the field, someone you don't want to see score. You'll lock them off with one of your lesser defensemen, maybe a younger player, trying to get him experience. A-Pelt hasn't played a ton all season as a younger player. She's just a sophomore. But the decision to make her lock off Snow, I kind of like it. It prevents a lot of offense and can kind of mess up Wilton.
Whistle blown on that one. Clock continues to tick. Will be a free position for the Warriors. Morgan Lebeck. Wilton chasing 4 goals right now. Minute 26. Gonna back it up. Harden playing the tight D. Now Lebeck running towards the net, dodging, falling to the ground. Whistle is blown, keeping it with the Warriors. And now Grace Williams. She will be off to Miami in the fall. Not for sports, but still a senior for the Warriors. Clock stopped at minute 11.
I really like the way Lebeck plays. She's drawn 3 8-meter attempts so far today. The Rams have done a great job on defense, being able to shut her down so far. But, I mean, when you're getting all these 8-meter attempts, eventually something's going to go in,
and
as it does right there.
Is in. Wilton with the goal.
She was due for one right there, Braden. And that one just going with a high bouncer, going a little high cheese snizzy there. It was an absolute beauty.
As you mentioned, I think that was, who was it? Molly Snow that scored it?
I believe it was Lebeck. I think it was Lebeck.
Only one. I thought there might have been two digits in it, but New Canaan with the goal, or Wilton with the goal nonetheless. Morgan Lebeck. Those numbers are starting to get to me, Chad, as you bring up the comment. The blue numbering on the back of Wilton's jerseys. But Morgan Lebeck with the goal.
And it looks like they're going to switch Kaylee Harden back to the draw here. She was dominating previously. I believe she's at she's 4-1 on the draw so far, which is just huge.
Harden being met with Masterson. Harden took the first couple draws. That one won by the Warriors. The momentum is in their favor right now.
And with a minute left, these teams really need to push it in transition, try to make as many plays as they can, but limit turnovers. And that was just a fantastically executed, I believe that was a triple team on Jade Lowe there in the corner by the Wilton Warriors.
Here's Molly Snow now. 40 seconds to work with it. At X, looking to add another one to Wilton's cause before the half. Snow. Retreating it to Williams. Williams getting shoved by Harden. Knocking off to Snow, cutting, and just over the top there. Just past Patillo. The shot there, passing it off to Snow. 9 seconds now. Snow needs to go. Bringing the wraparound, shooting it high. The flag has been pulled on it. 4.9 left in the half. And we might see another Wilton free position.
Wilton had a lot of opportunities there. We saw the one cutter almost get hit with a pass there. Just the pass was a little bit off. They definitely watched film from that Staples game. And now being able to get an 8-meter attempt here for Snow. I mean, this Wilton team really showing on offense that they can hold with the Rams.
Molly Snow with the free position, taking to the cage, soaring it high, just past Corey. And that one picked up, taking us to the end of the first half. Our score, New Canaan 6, Wilton 3. Chad, what did you see in this opening half?
I saw a lot of dominance from the Rams at the draw spot in the early set of the game. But Masterson really seems to be coming on here in the later stages. I think she's 3-0 in the past 3 draws. and it's reflected in the score. Wilton's been able to score and get a lot of opportunities here in the last couple minutes. But the Rams, they had a streak there where they looked like they were going to be taking over this game for good. But Wilton did a really great job being able to limit it there. And, I mean, Patillo's definitely the player of the game so far for the Wilton Warriors. 2 goals today. And that's just, if they can keep feeding her the way they have all season, they're going to be able to hold strong with the Rams.
So 6-3 New Canaan leads heading into the half. We're going to take a short break. You are watching the DAF Media Network in conjunction with Local Live and NCTV. We will be back in 6 minutes with the second half between New Canaan and Wilton.
The technology upgrades provided by the Darien Foundation has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to improve our training. It has helped us hone our skills. Thanks to our partnership with the Darien Foundation, who's provided all this technology and several grants throughout the years, we're able to continue to be prepared to respond whenever you need it.
I'd like to thank the Darien Foundation for their continued support. They've been a wonderful partner, and they've taken this vision that we've had for this property and make it a reality.
Thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have this amazing new van, and we are so excited about it and what it'll do for the community.
This is going to be a real improvement in the services we provide. The Darien Foundation is important to the community in the scope that they reach out to answer needs.
It's important for people to be proud of where they live and to understand that if they want a better society, that they need to fund places like the Darien Foundation and the places like the Mather Homestead, because they're so rich in cultural achievements that it makes it a better place to live.
Celebrating and supporting Darien athletes. That is a simple mission of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Broadcasting live from the field, DAF Media covers 125 games a year. All Darien teams, our youth, in our town, on our fields. Fields like the Center Oval and Upper Oval turfs, the JV softball field, and Stadium East, the longest turf in New England. All made possible by the Darien Athletic Foundation and its generous founders and donors. The Darien Athletic Foundation is not just committed to building our town's athletic infrastructure, it's improving the civic infrastructure for everyone to enjoy. The multimedia scoreboard, the snack bar pavilion, and the stadium lights, a $750,000 investment that makes Darien High School just the second school in Connecticut with LED lights. The Darien Athletic Foundation board is made up of local parents who know just how quickly it goes by. Its archives of more than 60,000 photos capture those precious moments of our young athletes as they strive to be their very best. The Darien Athletic Foundation has raised almost $9.5 million for our town and its kids, and it's not stopping there, as it continues to build a legacy for our youth as bright as their future, both on and off the field.
This is David Genovese, founder of Corbin Cares. Corbin Cares Phase 2, in partnership with the Darien Foundation, was launched to support the people who support Darien. Corbin Cares partnered with the Darien Foundation to thank essential workers, teachers, police officers, firefighters, EMTs, town employees, and postal workers who stepped up during the pandemic. Family meals for 4 were provided by Four Forks, Bodega, Michael Joseph's, 1020 Post, and Parlor Pizza and Wine. Post 53 was treated to a tacos and waffles night with Bodega and the Waffle Cabin. Thanks to countless donors, 910 family dinners for 4 and 110 posties were served. And the Corbin Cares office was flooded with notes, emails, and letters of gratitude. Thanks to the essential workers and generous donors, you are all that make this community great.
We are DAF Media, Darien's hometown source for sports, arts, and entertainment, established in 2017. We are Community, a volunteer-based organization that gives nearly 50 Darien High School students hands-on experience in video production. We are Cutting Edge, a STEM initiative. Students use cameras, computers, sound equipment, and innovative software. We are Live, streaming 120 events per year on our YouTube channel. We are On the Stage. We are At the Big Games. We are On the Field. We are In the Gym. We are On the Move, live streaming not only in Darien, but throughout southwestern Connecticut and the tri-state area. We are Making a Difference. We are DAF Media.
We welcome you back to Testa Field on the campus of Norwalk High School, awaiting the start of the second half between New Canaan and Wilton. In a game that New Canaan currently leads at 6-2-3. And Chad, what do you think the second half is going to hold for us?
I mean, the theme for Wilton is going to be defense. They did a great job in the beginning of the game where they were able to limit New Canaan a lot, but we saw some of those free attempts with the 8-meter shots. The Rams were really able to build momentum from there, and that's how this 3-goal lead kind of built for the Rams. And I mean, Patillo for the Warriors, she's been the main goal scorer all day today. 2 goals for her already. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep feeding her.
Once again, you are watching this production of DAF Media in conjunction with Local Live and NCTV. Our production crew this afternoon, New Canaan High School student volunteers, Andrew Mank and Anav Sahai and Emily Fox, Braden Shank, and Chad Russo with you. So glad you could be with us. And, of course, Damian Andrew overseeing this entire operation this afternoon, as we will be bringing you both of the semifinals for girls lacrosse. Darien Richfield, the nightcap, the 1 versus the 4. Hardin and Masterson on the opening draw in the second half. And the first half, it was pretty even, 6-5 in favor of New Canaan at the draws as the team switched sides. Wilton moving from left to right on your screen. New Canaan right to left, quickly with it. Making a move to the cage is number 16, Addison Patillo.
And that was really impressive by Patillo. It almost looked like she burned both Stella Nolan and Kaylee Hardin, 2 really great players, one going to UNC, the other going to Michigan, and that's just really impressive there from Patillo.
Now Wilton going to slow it down, set up the offense. Once again, the Warriors in their road gray jerseys with the blue numbering. New Canaan in their home whites with the red numbers. Lebec met with a pair of New Canaan defenders. Lowe pushing her out. Snow now initially gets past Appelt. Wilton going to try their luck again. Addison Patillo, the sophomore, driving inside and scoring. Addison Patillo, her hat trick. 3 of Wilton's 4 goals coming from her stick, and it's now a 2-goal game.
And that was just a dominant play there by Patillo. The Rams had a triple team there. She was just able to break through the way it all went down. She just went right down the center of that Rams defense, a rare sight to be seen. I guess the Rams are kind of missing their bruiser, Carolyn Barron, on this one. She was known for kind of cleaning people out in the crease there. It's not something you traditionally see a lot of in girls lacrosse, but she was really good at that. She was known as a bruiser, and they're definitely missing her presence there as Patillo just scored a great goal.
Addison Patillo, the sophomore for Wilton, 3 goals in this one. The other one coming from Morgan Lebec, as Wilton now trying to claw back into this game, currently trailing by 2. Harden and Masterson back at the draw circle.
We saw earlier in the game, we saw the Rams lock off Snow with A-Pelt. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and lock off Patillo here. Just with the way she's playing, 3 goals on the day out of the 4 for Wilton. Wouldn't be shocked to see her get locked off.
Dylan Patton now over to the stick of Kaylee Harden. Wilton, or New Canaan going to continue to feed their hot offensive weapons here. They've had Dylan Patton 3 goals, Kaylee Harden with 1, Caitlin Tully and Lexi Tully with the 6 total goals for New Canaan on the afternoon. Dylan Patton now getting it over to Stella Nolan. Nolan had 3 goals versus the Wilton Warriors in the regular season. None for her tonight, or this afternoon rather.
It looked like the Rams were trying to set up a little bit of a crease screen there with Dylan Patton trying to get Caitlin Tully open there, but the Wilton defense doing a great job limiting that off-ball movement. And it looks like it might be an 8-meter here for Devin Russell.
That first 8-meter of the half will be awarded to New Canaan. Devin Russell, as you mentioned, to take it. Russell looking to capitalize. New Canaan has scored on 2 free positions this afternoon, taking it straight to the cage, shooting and scoring. Devin Russell with the goal for New Canaan, and they add another one to their total.
Brayden, I'm not quite sure. Are the Rams 3 for 3 on 8-meter attempts so far today?
Yes, they are.
And that's huge for, this sport. Whenever you can go 100% in any situation, you can focus more on being a lot more physical on the offensive end. If you can draw these 8 meters, you know you can finish them. Hughes is a great goalie, but with the way the Rams have been approaching these 8 meters so far today, they've been almost unstoppable.
So New Canaan's 3rd goal on the free position this afternoon. We talked about it in the first half, but Wilton has not been able to stop the Rams on those free positions. And it's something you got to assume, Chad, if they want to win this game, they got to fix up and clean. Tully and Masterson for the draw. 7-6 our score at the draw circle in favor of the Rams. That one picked up by Patton.
That's just a great grab there by Patton, going up with one hand, almost Odell-esque in the way she grabbed that, and just having the speed to be able to get down into the offensive zone.
As you mentioned, a great grab by Patton, now getting it to this potent New Canaan offense, who's been pretty much dominant all afternoon. 7 goals for the team. Underwood now getting it over to Nolan. You also mentioned, Chad, lacrosse is a game of possessions, and so far New Canaan's had a majority of them. Kaylee Harden giving some room from her defender in Donano. Flag has been pulled out on it.
Looks like it's going to be a 12-meter here.
It is indeed from the 12-meter arc going to be the ball to Lexi Tully. Cannon on the restart, Underwood. Over to Dylan Patton. Patton trying to take it up the middle, retreating it to Harden. Kaylee Harden now on the far side. Great pass over to Underwood.
And Underwood, she's a fantastic feeder, so they really have to play tight defense on her whenever she gets the ball from behind, because she's always looking up and ready to hit a cutter that's coming down the middle.
Dylan Patton moving it back around to Devin Russell. Both teams have 1 goal in this second half. Nice spin move from Harden. She's going to take it to the cage, shooting and scoring.
And Brayden, that was just gross right there. She made about 8 moves there on the defender. Made her look almost silly in the way she scored there. Just that's just ridiculous play right there by Kaylee Harden. There's not much else you can do on the defensive end. The double team was coming, and she just ran right away from it.
Kaylee Harden going top shelf on Amelia Hughes and scoring a big goal for New Canaan and a big player for the Rams. And Kaylee Harden, an All-American this season. And New Canaan continuing to add to their lead, up by 4 now. Kaylee off to North Carolina to play lacrosse in the fall. I believe the Tar Heels still in the ACC tournament, or rather the NCAA tournament for women's lacrosse. I believe one of their key players, McKenna Harden, Kaylee's sister for the Tar Heels. Another draw picked up by the Rams. And Dylan Patton now getting it to their goaltender in Mahoney.
That's a great forced turnover there by Patton. She's done it all season on the ride. When she sees another team clearing, she gives this a just ridiculous effort and really shows off her speed, especially in rides.
And a great pass down low, intercepted by Hughes. Great alertness for Amelia Hughes to gain possession. And whistle is blown.
That was like an Ed Reed type play there from Hughes. She saw where the offensive player was, and she just made a great job jumping in front of the pass there.
So it looks like number 15 for New Canaan, Caitlin Tully, will head into the box. So Wilton will get the opportunity with the yellow card. A woman up situation for the Warriors, and you got to assume, Chad, they need to capitalize on this. Restart for Wilton.
The Rams are really being aggressive with this Wilton team. It's already resulted in 1 penalty for them. I'm surprised they didn't throttle things back a little bit there. But, I guess what works, works.
Does indeed. Wilton now trying to capitalize on this opportunity. That one knocked out into the open field. Picked up, the ground ball picked up by Lowe. Now New Canaan on the offense. We're trying to retreat at the bouncing pass. Mahoney's going to try to hustle for it, and she will save it just before the end line. But a great job by the Warriors to put the pressure on, to no avail, however.
And of course, it's Devin Russell coming through to pick up that ground ball. She's done it all day, and she did it yet again.
Here's now the Rams. Patterson, a junior for New Canaan. Big-time defender for the Rams, now getting it to the stick of Coyote. Normally a defender, but playing some of the offense today. Her brother Ryan, a New Canaan High School alumni, class of 2021. Rams now. Move there from Russell. Tully eager to get out of the box. Just counting down the seconds. Again, keeping the ball moving. And Tully now freed from the penalty box. Both teams back to even strength. So Chad, Wilton had the opportunity on the man up, unable to capitalize.
I feel like that's been a big theme so far today. Wilton just hasn't been able to capitalize on some of these opportunities they had. We saw it at the end of the half. A couple open shots, it seemed like. They missed a cutter coming right across the crease. And if they want to stay in this game, they're going to have to take advantage of opportunities like that.
They are indeed, especially trailing by 4. They're going to look for anything they can get. Here's Devin Russell. Over to Kaylee Harden. Again, in this first of 2 semifinals from Norwalk High School tonight. On the nightcap, the number 1 seeded Darien Blue Wave will take on the 4th seeded Richfield Tigers. That game's a 7 o'clock start, right back on the DAF Media Network and local live. So for our friends watching on NCTV, if you want to tune into that nightcap to see the other semifinal, once again, DAF and local live with that one. Dylan Patton on the far side of the arc. Devin Russell Getting it right back to Patton. Dylan Patton, 3 goals for the Rams tonight. So the big time offensive spark plug for New Canaan. And as she has been all season, 53 goals from Patton last season. Don't have the total for this season, but you got to assume it's close.
You really have to like how the Rams have slowed things down here. I mean, it's not the flashiest way to play the sport, but knowing you have this lead like they do and not forcing anything, that's a huge reason as to why they've been able to stay ranked so highly in the country over the past couple of years. Is they just have this level of control that most teams don't have.
That's something it all takes, the patience. And, I mean, up by 4 goals with 16 minutes left, no shot clock. You got to be precise here and can't be making any unforced errors. And the whistle blowing there. And if you're Wilton on the flip side, Chad, you have to play a little bit more aggressive now with your FCIAC season on the line and needing a turnover to keep it going.
I think it's hard for Wilton to play so aggressively, though, against this New Canaan team. They don't really turn it over a lot on stick work type things.
And the goal from New Canaan there on the free position. Make it 4 for 4 on the free positions. And that has just been a big time production for New Canaan. Take another look at it. That's Tully. Drives right past, shoots it past Amelia Hughes. Lexi Tully with the goal. And that is her 2nd of the afternoon.
And Lexi Tully, she's used to finishing through contact. She plays a lot from behind the crease, which is, I mean, when you're dodging from there, you're bound to see a lot of contact as defenders kind of set up on that crease side and try and push you out a little bit. She's the perfect player for an 8-meter, and she kind of went with that signature Tully bounce shot. I mean, her and her sister both really like to go low, and she did it there, and it worked fantastically.
You also got to look at the fact she plays ice hockey in the winter. Definitely used to some contact and staying with it. The violation on Masterson, delayed penalty, giving the automatic win to the Rams. Canaan with the 5-goal lead. 15 minutes still left to play. Canaan's going to stay on the offense. Wilton just needs to turn it over and get it to their offense. Not many looks for them, rather. But the ones that they have gotten, Chad, they have capitalized on so far.
Yeah, and I like the defensive approach Wilton with when playing at X there. We saw Underwood with the ball, and Hughes just kind of came out of net and started to guard Tully from behind. She knew there was
Shooting that one stopped by Hughes. Rebound picked up by Tully.
She realized there was no threat from behind for Underwood to score a goal. And just being able to make smart plays like that, I mean, Hughes is a great goalie. We already saw her pick off some passes today. And having her come out of the cage, maybe to put a little bit more pressure on this New Canaan offense when they're behind the crease, that's huge. If they can force a turnover here and there, it's going to get them right back into this game.
Definitely will. And the time not in Wilton's favor, but they need to get something going. Dylan Patton, the senior, over to Russell, a sophomore, an underclassman for New Canaan that you have to assume has 2 more years with head coach Kristen Woods. That's someone New Canaan's definitely going to be excited to get back in the future. Kaylee Harden trying to make a move past her defender in Masterson. Bus pulling in from Richfield, so the Tigers are definitely ready to go tonight in the nightcap against the number 1 seeded Darien. But focusing back on this game between New Canaan and Wilton, 9-4 in favor of the Rams.
The Rams have burnt almost 4 minutes here on this offensive possession, just passing it around, being really, really patient, and being able to burn clock like that. The Wilton Warriors are going to quickly find themselves out of this game if they can't force a turnover.
That's something we mentioned in the first half, but something New Canaan's definitely practiced on in their practices, slowing the ball down, looking for the opportunity, doing the drills where you can't shoot for the first minute or so, but making the passes and looking for the golden opportunity.
I think a huge portion of that, too, is a lot of these seniors on this New Canaan team have been starters almost since they were sophomores. I mean, Dylan Patton, Kaylee Harden, Stella Nolan, she's been playing for a while. All these players have a lot of experience in varsity games, and it really shows in situations like this.
It does indeed, and especially when they're looking to cap it off with a senior, hardware to it in an FCIAC or state championship. You need that veteranship. As Kaylee Harden making one nice move, getting in front of the cage, wrapping around and scoring, fooling Amelia Hughes on it for Kaylee Harden's hat trick on the night.
It seems like when Kaylee Harden gets into the middle of this defense, she's just so under control. Once again, another hockey player, as you said about Lexi Tully. And this is just what Kaylee Harden does. When she gets inside, she keeps great control of her body. She throws a lot of fake shots and always is able to keep possession. We saw Hughes come out of net a little bit there, trying to play a little bit of defense to help out the team. Just great defense, just great offense there, by Kaylee Harden.
And New Canaan has now scored 4 unanswered goals from Wilton. And this game was once, I think it was, 6-3 at the half? Something close. And Wilton definitely was in striking distance, but now New Canaan has just started to run away with this semifinal. And you did bring up that quarterfinal, Chad, in which New Canaan started off a little slow against Staples, only 3 or 4 goals in the early goings of the first half, but really turned it on, scoring 15 in the entire quarterfinal. As back to the draw circle, great jumping grab by Lexi Tully. Once again, Tully won 12 against Staples in the quarterfinal. Picks up another big one there, the 12th or the 11th team draw control for New Canaan on the night. Lexi Tully, a great night she has been having so far.
And I feel like the offensive opportunities are really going to come here for the Rams because it looks like the Warriors are going to have to push out a lot, maybe try and force some turnovers, no easy passes. But when you're set up like that, it leaves room for fast players like Patton did.
And that one stopped by Hughes, her 4th save of the night. And now being pressured with it is Goldman. And possession staying with Wilton. So Goldman gets the whistle, player for the Connecticut Grizzlies club lacrosse team.
And that was a great job by Goldman right there, trying to keep possession. But it looks like Hughes is going to throw it away there on the clear.
Passing that one over to Harden. Good crowd on hand from Testa Field for this first FCIAC Girls semifinal. Canaan now going to have the ball on the offense, going to do exactly what they did with their last possession, slow it down. And if you're head coach Meredith Mayren, you got to get something for this Wilton team. You can't let New Canaan run the clock out.
Yeah, and I like the defense Masterson is playing on Russell, but just with the way this New Canaan team is, they don't turn the ball over all that much. So when you get down against them, it's really hard to get back into games.
And that's something we saw even in the early goings where New Canaan went up 2-3-1, and it really was a struggle for Wilton to get back in it. And it's really continued all afternoon. And now here's Harden making one nice move. Shooting that one just high, picked up by Underwood on the recovery.
That pass had a little too much arc there. I mean, in football, if I was a quarterback and I threw that ball to a receiver, it would not be the best situation. That would hurt a lot to get hit on a shot like that. When the ball's just high up in the air there and a player's head goes up, it's not always the best position to be on offense. Luckily, no one was hurt there.
Now Canaan back on the offense. Molly, that's actually Tully. Ollie Reed now, the junior. Slowing it down is Tully in the corner. Tully now wrapping around. Dumping it off. Last second, whistle's blowing it dead, but Stella Nolan had a look.
This perfectly sets her up for the 8-meter there on the shooting space call.
Stella Nolan out, taking it to the cage and scoring.
It almost looked like the Warriors had a slow jump on the ball there. They didn't really close out nearly as quickly as they had in some of the past ones. You got to believe they're a little bit demoralized, having given up 100% on these free opportunities. The Rams now at 5 for 5 on 8-meter attempts. Just an astronomical stat right there.
It really is, and 5 for 5, as you mentioned. I mean, that's truly unbeatable. And New Canaan goes up 11-4 as Wilton will take their first time out in this second quarter. And with that, we are going to take a short break. Here, you are watching the 2022 FCIAC Girls Lacrosse Semifinal on DAF Media in conjunction with Local Live and NCTV. We'll be right back. We're back here from Testa Field. The draw ensuing between Tully and Masterson after the free position goal from Stella Nolan. Once again, you are watching this production of DAF Media in conjunction with Local Live and NCTV. Our production crew this afternoon, all student volunteers from New Canaan High School taking the trip over to crew this game. Andrew Mank, Anav Sahai, Emily Fox, Braden Shank, and Chad Russo with you. So glad you could be with us spending your Monday afternoon here as you watch the semifinal. Damian Andrew overseeing this entire operation this afternoon. Once again, the first of 2 games being streamed by DAF tonight. We will have the nightcap between Darien and Richfield at 7 o'clock. The winner of that meeting the winner of this match in the championship on Wednesday. That one knocked out into the open space. Ground ball fielded by the Rams and Caitlin Tully. Tully, her second year at the varsity level. And now getting it to the offense. Here's Caitlin Tully. Canaan going to slow it down. Under 10 minutes left in regulation.
This is just kind of the theme of the day. The Warriors were able to get it down onto the offensive end. It looked like they were going to be able to maybe get a possession going, but the Rams just instantly able to get it back down onto the Warriors' offensive end. And with the way they've been running the clock, this one's really getting out of hand.
Dylan Patton with the ball. That's Catherine Deneen trying to knock it loose. Once again, Deneen, an All-FCIAC second teamer last season on the defense.
And she's been really impressive all day with the way she's been commanding this defense. It really seems like she's been in control of when the double teams come to some of these offensive players for the Rams.
Patton out, streaking for the cage and scoring.
And just as I compliment the communication, it looked like a little bit of a breakdown there. And Patton just with the speed to be able to make them pay. Just a great play there by Patton. Is that a hat trick on the day for her, or is that more?
That is just more. That's her 4th goal on the afternoon. And New Canaan continues the streak going. 6 unanswered goals from the Rams. It was 6-4 at one point, but then New Canaan has surged. I mean, you have goals. Devin Russell, Lexi Tully, Kaylee Harden with 2, Stella Nolan, and then Dylan Patton with the most recent. That's 12-4 our score.
And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but when this Rams team scores 12 goals, I believe they won. I think every game where they've scored, or every game where they've won, they've scored at least 12 goals. And it looks like that pattern might continue here.
That is a good stat right there. I don't know, I think we brought that up, but Buchanan definitely has. Wilton wins the quick draw, bouncing that one in and scoring. Wilton with the quick answer on that one. Their first goal in a while, but it comes from the stick of number 16, Addison Patillo. And who else? You take another look at it, wrapping it around, just bouncing that one past Mahoney on the low side. Her 4th goal for Wilton. She has 4 of the team's 5.
And Patillo with a little bit of a Thanos moment there. Okay, I'll do it myself. She's kind of taken over for the Warriors. And you see it again there, just being able to run right down the middle of that Rams defense, kind of taking it into her own hands, and she's really been the only scoring threat so far for the Warriors.
Addison Patillo with the goal. That draw won by New Canaan, and they continue to add on. And as you see in the backdrop of Norwalk Testa Field, that's the Darien Blue Wave in the blue. They are getting ready to take on Richfield in the nightcap. That should be an exciting one in the 1-4 matchup. As Dylan Patton slowing it down at X. New Canaan now with the 7-goal lead. So in no rush, but if you're the Wilton Warriors, you need to get some stops.
And you got to believe the Rams are probably hoping to play the Wave again. I mean, you always want to go against the best competition you can. With Darien being ranked 2nd in the country right now, the Rams having already lost them when they were on a little bit of a skid. I mean, they had just lost to Victor, and then they had to go and play Darien. Probably looking to get this one back. But, I mean, Darien still has to finish against a very good Ridgefield team. But, I mean, with how good this Darien team has been so far, it would not be surprising to see a New Canaan-Darien matchup.
It's definitely possible. This is potentially one of head coach Lisa Lindley's best teams she's ever had in her 20-plus years of coaching. So it would be interesting, another potentially Darien and New Canaan final in the championship. And you just look at the recent history of the FCIAC, and it's really only been Darien and New Canaan. Of course, it was in 2021 and 2019, so the past 2 FCIAC championships, and New Canaan has lost 7 times in the FCIAC championship to New Canaan, or to Darien rather. So they're looking to potentially pick up another FCIAC title, but it might be coming against a familiar foe in the Darien Blue Wave.
I mean, it would be almost poetic for this New Canaan team to potentially beat Darien. I mean, having lost 7 of them, that's that whole history thing again. You're trying to either break history if it's bad or if it's good. You're trying to keep up that tradition. And this New Canaan team definitely has the ability to do those kind of things. But first, that matchup has to happen. And the Blue Wave has to be able to finish one tonight against Ridgefield.
Talk about poetic endings. I mean, last season, New Canaan, they won the 1993 FCIAC title and then went on a long drought, and it wasn't until 2021 that they won the second one. So some closing history. A great pass down low, and scoring is number 8, Devin Russell, with the goal, and New Canaan continues to get them up on the scoreboard, 13-5. You take another look at it, a great feed from Dylan Patton down low to a wide open Devin Russell, and she just goes high on Hughes.
I think that's one of the keys for this New Canaan team this year. I mean, Dylan Patton, she draws all the eyes from defenders. A lot of people can ball watch when you have a player like her who can really just dominate a game and take over, and that really helps open up opportunities for players like Caroline Underwood, Devin Russell, players that don't score as many goals as her, but are definitely just lethal when they can get inside and get an open shot.
Definitely will is now back at the draw circle. It is Devin Russell and Ashley Masterson. As Wilton's looking to win the draw and get the offense going, trailing by 8 now. It's actually Kaylee Harden at the draw circle, my apologies, and she wins it. New Canaan's 13th draw win, or draw control rather. Stella Nolan being pushed out by Deneen. Catherine Deneen off to Bucknell once again next year to play lacrosse. Takes a stick off the face from Underwood.
Almost surprised at the lack of a call there. I mean, when a player grabs at her face like that, it means something probably happened. But, I mean, I guess the refs might have thought it was a flop or something along those lines.
And that shot stopped by Hughes. Her 5th save on the afternoon. And now she's going to look to flip it to this Wilton offense. Hughes slowing it down. 5 minutes left to play in regulation. The Hail Mary complete to Deneen, the defender. She's going to make an attempt at the goal. Shooting stopped by Mahoney. Claire Mahoney, only her 2nd save on the afternoon, but definitely a big one. And now New Canaan's going to continue the offense. Here's Molly Reed.
And that was just the classic defender play there by Deneen. I mean, whenever a defender gets down onto the offensive end with the ball, they want to score. And, I mean, with how out of hand this game has gotten, they needed a goal. She thought maybe she could be that spark plug. But Claire Mahoney just so good in net, just able to stuff her there.
Lexi Tully now on the far side being met with Donano. At X with it is Tully. Keeping it moving now to Abby Richardson. The first time she has seen the field this afternoon. Had a goal in the FCIAC quarters against Staples. And now New Canaan digging into their depth. As Stella Nolan with the ball. And that shot is in. New Canaan adds another to the total. And Chad, what really has just gone wrong for Wilton here in these past couple minutes?
I don't even know what to say went wrong. I mean, they're pushing out on defense because they have to. They're kind of forced into an awful position right now. Whenever you're down this amount, you have to get aggressive. And sometimes with that aggression, the other team can make you pay. And that's just exactly what's happened so far.
That was Caroline Underwood, the junior. Had 3 assists versus Wilton in the regular season. She picks up her first goal in this one. And now we will see Abby Richardson, the junior, her first time in the draw circle. 14-5, so we are getting close to that running clock, Chad, which I don't think is something Wilton expected to be in on the verge of.
I mean, with the way this game started, it started so close. I mean, there was that 1-1 start. Wilton was the first team to score in this one, but the Rams, with their offensive ability, have really just taken over.
14 draw controls for the Rams. I mean, that is truly unstoppable. As now Kaylee Harden keeping the offense with the Rams. Hail Mary over to Molly Reed. Reed has the nice right-handed shot. She makes the spin move. Completes the pass to Nolan. Stella Nolan wrapping around and scoring. Stella Nolan with the goal. And New Canaan now takes the 10-goal lead.
This almost looks like a carbon copy of their last game where the Rams, I believe it was 16-4. Was that the score?
15-3, rather.
Yeah.
Close
oh,
enough.
no, I was thinking of the last Wilton game.
Oh, last Wilton game. Yeah, that was 14-6.
Okay. Close enough. I'll take it. I'll take it on those lines. But, I mean, now we got a running clock. There's 3 minutes left in this one. Who would have expected it to turn into the blowout that it has? But this New Canaan team really just showing off their talent.
So once again, the running clock has now occurred. 3 minutes left, and that will run off as long as, if Wilton scores, it will turn off the running clock. But 10-goal difference we are now in. The Rams have just run away with this one. As Wilton will pick up the draw control. Masterson. You also got to look at this Wilton team, highly ranked in the Class L at the 5th seed, so they will be potentially meeting New Canaan in the later parts of the state tournament. That one going high off the stick of Molly Snow.
I think this really just shows how impressive teams like New Canaan and Darien really are. Having the 5th-ranked team in Class L and just being able to dominate
that one
them
is
in the way they have so far today, being up now 15-6 as Wilton just scored. But it really just shows when you're able to go up double digits on a team that's so experienced in the Class L division, being 5th. I think it really just shows the dominance of these two programs.
And who else but Addison Patillo with the goal. That is her 5th goal for Wilton tonight. That is truly unbelievable. And you got to wonder, Chad, where the rest of this Wilton team is tonight, that 5 of the 6 goals comes from the stick of Patillo.
Yeah, it's hard to say if that just says how impressive she is as a player or if it says something more about this Wilton team.
It's also something you got to assume New Canaan watched their film heading into this one, had to have been aware of Addison Patillo, and rather she still puts 5 up on the stat sheet. That one trying to be grabbed and will be grabbed by Masterson, tripped to the ground by Richardson. Quick restart from the Warriors. 2 minutes left in regulation. 15-6 our score. Snow making a nice move, dumping it off to Williams.
I'm almost shocked that pass was able to squeeze through, but just a great job there by Snow moving the ball.
And now the free position for the Warriors. That shot stopped by Mahoney. Her 3rd save of the game. And a good free position look from the Warriors. Molly Snow at the top now. Trying to dodge inside, gets pushed out by Leahy. That's Patillo going to try her luck. Over to the stick of Peterkin. The flag has been pulled on it. Picked up the rebound from Reed. Molly Reed dancing around with it. Patterson gets past her stick. Mahoney's going to come over for support and corral it. Risky pass completed to Coyote.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see Claire Mahoney throw the ball in front of the crease there on the clear with a defender right there on Coyote, but I guess it just shows how much trust they have in their sticks.
Under a minute left in this one. Canaan with the restart. Stella Nolan. You got to assume she's just going to run the clock off. Molly Reed. Going to keep it going. Canaan on the verge of advancing to the FCIAC Championship, and it would be their 15th trip in program history. They most recently went in 2021, and it would be their 3rd straight, tying a program record. Running around is Underwood. 7 seconds. And this ball game is over. New Canaan will take it by the final score of 15-6 on the Wilton Warriors, and they will advance to the FCIAC Championship on Wednesday, the 15th time in program history that head coach Kristen Woods and the Rams will be fighting for an FCIAC title. Chad, what are your final takeaways from this one?
Well, there's not really much to say about this one. It was just a dominant performance from New Canaan. I mean, the players we expected to perform, Dylan Patton, Kaylee Harden, they both did their thing as always. As we saw Kaylee Harden just run right inside there and finish on the net. They did their thing. It was as to be expected. I expected a little bit more fight out of Wilton, to be completely honest. I was expecting a little bit tighter of a game. I mean, the first meeting was similar to this one. But this Rams team really playing an inspired game with 2 injured seniors like Hollis Moore and Carolyn Barron. They're really after that FCIAC title, and they're going to get a chance to compete for it.
Taking a look now at the goals from New Canaan this afternoon. Dylan Patton, the big one for him. 4 goals from New Canaan. And on the flip side, Wilton Addison Patillo. Really the Addison Patillo show. 5 goals for the sophomore as New Canaan takes this 15-6. Now, Chad, if you're Wilton, you have a tough game here today. How do you kind of put this behind you and adjust to the state tournament?
I mean, I think we talked about it earlier, but the 2 main teams in Connecticut are New Canaan and Darien. So when you go down to these two just really fantastic programs, when these are the teams you're losing to, it doesn't affect your psyche that much. You know how dominant you can be in Class L. This Wilton team is very good as the 5 seed. And as an FCIAC team, they're always competitive. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to bounce back.
So once again, your final score, New Canaan 15, Wilton 6 in this FCIAC semifinal. New Canaan will advance to Wednesday's championship to play the winner of this next semifinal between Darien and Richfield. I'm going to give one final shout out to our production crew this afternoon, all student volunteers bringing you the sights and sounds in this one. Andrew Mank, Anav Sahai, Emily Fox, Damian Andrew overseeing this entire operation. So for our entire production crew, Chad Russo saying so long from Testa Field. I've been Braden Shank, and we thank you for watching this production of DAF Media in conjunction with Local Live and NCTV, bringing you the 2022 FCIAC Girls Lacrosse semifinals. We'll be back at 7 o'clock with Darien and Richfield, the winner to that, to meet New Canaan in the 2022 FCIAC Championship. We thank you for watching.